And we're back. It's one more show of the Neighborhood News Show. It's Tuesday, Channel 95, 7 o'clock at night. We are back for one more Neighborhood News Show. Remember, if you are watching this show and it's not a Tuesday night, it's because you're watching a repeat show, please come back for a new show next Tuesday at 7 o'clock here on Channel 95. And we are filming today. It's the day after election, but this show will be on the air next week. So if you hear us talk about yesterday, it was not actually yesterday, it was last week, but we are taping the show after a day after the elections. And with me, it's Faust, again, the man that knows all about politics and how this thing runs. And
no, I'm just
he's like me. We always survive and come around the other side. I don't know.
So far.
Good swimmers.
Yeah, so far.
Good swimmers. At least it's no sharks on the river.
Right. Maybe we're more afraid to drown than others, but it comes out the same.
So what I have to start by saying is I want to congratulate Jazel for to be the winner and to be our next mayor. I think over 8,000 people gave him the support, and at this point is giving him the trust of being the younger mayor ever. I think that
youngest in Fall River history.
In Fall River history, and to be the third in a period of a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah.
So both ways, it's a historical moment. I wish him a lot of luck. He knows that if he needs anything from me, I will be here to help him. I have done on the past to the mayors that have reached out to me. I never said no, because what I do for my community, I do for my city. I never did it for a mayor because he was the mayor. Doesn't matter who needs the help, I always help. For Samsara, I have to say, a great DA. I never gonna, and I don't think Fall River people will never say that he is not a good DA. He definitely is a good DA. We give him a chance to turn the city around. I understand that he picked the city in a tough position.
Sure.
9 months, for those that say that it was not enough, I agree it was not enough. But the reason that people didn't give him more time was because on the 9 months there was not enough. He didn't prove himself that he was gonna, keep working or keep making the city going in the right direction. That's the only reason that I think that people went opposite directions and kind of gave Jazel a new, a voice. Other than that, on the mayors, I would like to say that even those that didn't vote for Jazel, that will turn around and now support Jazel. And it's okay if you say, I didn't vote for him, but he's the mayor and I'm going to support him.
I think that there's always talk about the division in the city when there's an election, and I think that's overblown. Sure, there's a division. Some people vote for one candidate, some people vote for the other. All right, there's a division, but I think that the people of Fall River after that do tend to come together.
And my personal opinion, I think this was blown out of proportion more because the both sides were not being heard the same way. I think that's what they came down to, because if you wanted people to hear your voice, you're gonna rely on media. You're going to relay on paper. You're going to relay on radio, on TV, whatever, Facebook, whatever you want to get your message across. When you pick a side and you don't give the same time to everybody, that's when comes more than a supporter. Now, that's when the hate starts to kick in, because they were not, the time was not equal.
Yeah, there was some rancor over that, and I think that might last a little while longer. And again, I just said, the people come together. In a democracy, there's always going to be some division anyway. So, yeah, that was sort of a side issue. Maybe it's something that shouldn't have been, that we didn't really need in a mayoral election, that people felt like that they weren't able to get access, to both sides of the story as well. But in a time of social media, if Sam Sutter had a little bit of an advantage on the traditional media, his campaign did not utilize social media well at all. I think that did hurt him. There's a lot of things that hurt him. And Jaisal Correa did utilize it better. So, in a way, it might have balanced out, although not everyone has access to social media.
And I said this on the show this morning too, that people and the mayor was the one that kind of just put the blame on the $10 fee. I don't think that the $10 fee, was some, but it was not all.
You're right.
That the blame for the loss yesterday. The blame, I will say half of that blame has to come from the fact that the mayor was never on the face of the people. He was not returning phone calls. He was not getting into, places that he should be. That he was making appointments and then he was not showing up. So all this blame had to be blamed. Then the first 30 days in office, he went and he recycled stuff that we already put it there, that we didn't want it. For his transaction team, he went and picked up people that the people of Fall River didn't have to trust anymore. So, that
I think you're right. I think that
killed them too from day one.
From day one.
From day one. This is not just the $10 that was imposed 2 months ago. This started the day that he got elected. And the reason was because he didn't got himself run with the right people. I know that he was very loyal to their friends or his friends, bring them from everywhere. I understand all of that, but that's the thing. And the fact is that I said that the fact is they closed a senior center to save $41,000, and the only reason that he did was because he heard somebody that don't live on the city, that don't understand the need of the city. Maybe the city that he came from don't even have a senior center. We have 3 or 4 senior centers on the city. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he got himself with the wrong people. He listened to the wrong people. He never listened when people was telling him, you need to get out there, you need to be, in front of people. People want to talk to you. People want to shake your hand. People want to ask questions, And he never did it. And then he took it for granted. This is only a kid.
I think all those things are true. I think there's a lot about Fall River that Sam Sutter still doesn't understand. And if he did understand it, I think he would have surrounded himself with different people. But it seemed as time went on, he didn't really ever learn those lessons. I think he did underestimate Jaisal Correa. I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people, even on election day, were still surprised that Correa came out with a victory. I wasn't surprised for many of the reasons that you cite, because I saw the anger that people felt towards Sam Sutter. I think if that anger weren't there, he might have walked back in without any significant opposition. But I think you're right. I think the first day, the first week, the first month, he had already set himself up for failure because there was just so much about Fall River that he didn't really understand. I think that his trash fee was like Will Flanagan's bag fee in that it's easy to say, well, that was the problem. And to this day, I believe Sam Sutter, I heard a speech last night to his supporters, believes that was the problem because it's very easy to quantify that. Oh, well, it's $20 a month,
People don't want
$10
to
a
pay.
month fee.
People don't want to pay.
But that wasn't Will Flanagan's problem. It was just a symbol of the problem people had with Will Flanagan, any more than it was really Sam Sutter's problem. It was a symbol of people felt that he didn't have a connection with them. He didn't understand their problems.
And if he had reached out in 9 months and shake at least 1,000 hands, he will still be the mayor of the city.
Yeah.
Because that's the part that he missed, was shaking those hands. Because if he had, from day one that he got in office, being in front of people, people will understand. And if he had reached out to the people and say, we have this problem, and it's, you know, according to people that are talking to me, the only way I'm going to do it is this. Because reaching out in front of neighborhood groups, neighborhood associations, sometimes, you know, not making up.
Senior centers.
Exactly, senior centers. I was on the senior center today, and I had ladies there told me that he never visited once the senior center, once.
Right. And now, and this is not to say that Jay Zachariah didn't run a good campaign. What I think it says is that I'm not sure Jay Zachariah would have run a campaign if Sam Sutter had been doing all those things from the beginning. I think Sam, it was his to lose. What Sutter didn't understand was that it was his to lose from day one. A 2-month political campaign was not going to cut it with the people of Fall River. So if it could have been others. I think Correa did run a good campaign. He did shake a lot of hands. He does express to people that he actually likes being with them. I think that I wrote on my blog today that people got the impression that Sam didn't like them, and so he didn't like. So they didn't like him, and they got the impression that Jazel did like them, so they liked Jazel. But there would have been no Jazel candidacy. Jazel Correa is a young man. I believe that he would have waited. He actually, I think it was last night, said something, or it was on an interview recently. I think he intimated that. He hinted at that he probably would have waited at least 2 years to run. And who knows, in 2 years he could have changed his mind. But if Sam had taken care of business from the beginning, but it's more than just politics, because you need to have a certain competency in politics to govern. And part of it is knowing what the people want. And if you're not among the people, talking to the people, then you're not going to know what they want. So you can't govern well. So it is more than just politics.
Yeah, and I think, and another thing is, I really don't think that Mayor Sutter is a Fall River person. He's not a Fall River person, you know.
No, and I think you can be, even he wasn't born here, but he's been living here for 25 years. I think you can be, come to the city later on. I mean, Carlos, you weren't born in Fall River. You could be mayor tomorrow if you wanted to be. But he never really got out there, and he never seemed to know what was going on in Fall River for all those years.
And I think that's because the way he got in was because I got this, I'm going to change this around. So people will confident, you know, and trust in him because he did it at the DA's office. And people was expecting that he really was going to turn around. He knew he had what it would take to, you know, to turn this around. And this time, you already had established a good relation with the residents, you know, and accomplished some stuff and move on. But then another part that I think that killed them too was the lying, because it was always a half a lie. It was he never came and at least lied the whole thing. It was always a half a lie. Everything was a half a lie. You know, I'm going to hire this person because this person it's going to save the city $40,000 instead of $120,000. It's going to save us money. And then we came to find out that that person cannot actually work as many hours as the other one. So, it was always a lie. Then you want to hire the neighborhood outreach coordinator, which I was giving him credit for, because according to the process that he had interviews and everything, and he hired. Then we came to find out that he hired it because he was his son's best friend. So it was always a half a lie, and that's the part that that people are really getting on the wrong side of him.
Sure.
And
there were some crucial positions in any city government, and those crucial positions he did not handle well. I think Sam Sutter, what he believed was, if someone had the proper credentials in his mind, then they're okay for that job. We didn't understand about Fall Riverites is that those credentials might not exist just on paper. There are other considerations. There are other things besides, you're a good lawyer. Okay, you're a good lawyer, but that's not. I don't think Sam ever really understood what the objection to that appointment was. And I think part of it was he just wasn't listening, and he wasn't from the beginning. I also think that he didn't learn a lesson that it's shocking that he didn't learn, because he was put into office really on a negative vote. People at that time were anxious to get rid of the current mayor at the time, Will Flanagan. They thought it was time for Will to go, and Sam seemed like the one that could win, and he got a lot of support for that. But it was really a negative vote. It was a vote against somebody, and I don't think Sam considered that could happen to him, because I think a lot of that was a negative vote. And that's not taking anything away from Jaisal Correa. A lot of it was positive as well, but I don't know if Correa would have considered this if he didn't know that was in play. And I don't know if people would have listened to Correa as much as they did if they weren't already thinking that Sam was a bad choice. So some of that was a negative vote, to be honest. Sam got into office that way, and then to some extent he got out of office that way, and he never realized what was happening. Of all people, he should have understood that.
On this case, Faust, I think the votes was not against him. The votes was kind of a trust of a new, a new direction.
Yeah, I think
a new approach.
I think what I mean is that there would not have been that candidate if there wasn't negativity towards Sam.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone, and only one candidate that really had a reasonable chance of winning did come out. Whereas in the previous election, there were several candidates that were credible, had name recognition, had track records. In this case, only one who really had a shot at beating him came out. I don't think that would have happened if there wasn't negativity towards Sam Sutter. And it's a negativity that, as you say, going back to your original point, if he had reached out to people, if he had realized that the moment he got into office, he had to constantly reach out to the people of Fall River, if he had done all that, then he wouldn't have gotten that opposition. And I agree. I think Jaisal Correa got votes because people liked Jaisal Correa and thought it could go into a new direction, but I'm not sure they would have given him a chance had they not had the negativity towards Sam. And it's just almost shocking that Sam Sutter didn't know that from the minute he got into office. So I think you're right. I wrote this some time ago. I believe that it wasn't the fee, it was that people in Fall River did not believe that Sam Sutter was trying really hard to avoid it. If Sam could demonstrate that he did whatever he could and still had to impose a fee, I think it would have been taken better. But he never demonstrated that he tried. He never talked about a transfer station or privatization. He just did it. And it was really that people felt he wasn't trying hard enough to look out for them instead of just the fee itself. And I believe that if he had looked into that right from the beginning, from day one, and was able to demonstrate to people that he had no choice, it would have been an entirely situation. So getting back to your point, I wrote this weeks ago, that he lost this election 2 weeks in.
Yes, I think that that's exactly what happened, and we know that people is always telling him, always people telling him, because I know people been telling me, every time that we talk to him, we tell him, well, you need to go there, you need to go here, or you need to be on this party, or and then people started, the neighborhoods that he approached. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I had to go because I have a 12-year-old that I have to talk her to bed. It's not. I mean,
and
not even for fun.
Right.
Not even for fun. Say that because you're getting paid $120,000 a year. I hope your wife at least could stay home and tuck your daughter.
Right. We like family values, but in the end, I think in the beginning, I think Sam Sutter was miscast in this role. He says he doesn't regret doing it, but I don't think I believe that.
I think custom because custom $50,000 this year on his salary, and he did mention this. He was mentioned that as a pay cut. Was not really a pay cut. Was a different job and was paid. He was paid last $50,000 last, but custom now today custom a job. Because starting January, and I believe that he's going to fund, another job because as a lawyer, as a DA,
sure.
He definitely has a record that he can defend.
Well, I heard that Will Flanagan is looking for a partner.
Maybe all the Fall River mayors should get together, and we have
Bob Correa can handle public relations for them.
Yeah. No. It's funny that now that you mentioned Bob Correa, I was talking to him, and he's having a lot of fun at the radio. I don't know if he's going to keep having the show there. And he was like, he reminded me again, Carlos, we need to go for that coffee, which was somebody that I had a lot of respect for him. He did accomplish a lot of stuff when he was there. I know because I worked in some of the stuff, very close with him. I wish that he still had, the city still had implemented the book, the complaint book that he implemented, and it was excellent idea. And when the new mayor came in, they didn't use them anymore. This was a perfect example. I go by your house, I see that you have something on your lawn that's not supposed to be there. A barrel, a box, a mattress, whatever. I write the complaint. I cross the box, whatever, the address, and I just drop it on the mailbox. City Hall would pick up that, and we'll go there. Simple as that. As simple as that. I loved it because I used it. I think I still have a book on my car. I'm not using it because it's not implemented. But here's a great idea. You don't have to pay people to go around and check where is the problem.
Some of the best ideas are simple.
It's that simple. Send a couple of those cards. When you send the tax bill, when you send the water bill, send a couple of those cards on that envelope, and people will have that on the cars, whatever, and when they see something they want to complain, they just drop it on the mailbox on the corner of the street, and that's it. The complaint is done.
I did not know that. I wasn't living here at that time.
But again, and now, today, a day after election, they are spending more time trying to defend themselves. Why? Because now who's calling the shows now is the people that were getting cut off for the past 2 months. The people that they were not talking for the past 2 months, that's the people are calling the media now. And they are accepting their calls, so they are trying to defend themselves now. There's no need for that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I didn't catch Bob's show this morning, just a very small part of it, but I enjoyed the show. Because
last night, after the winner, it was a complete different show. It was a complete different show. They changed, like in half an hour, they changed the whole thing.
Really?
Because he was a very intelligent person. He on the debate, he came always on top on the debates. He knew what he was talking about.
I did hear that this afternoon, yes.
Yeah. He knew everything about. just last week was the worst show. Was a circus, you know, and it was all of that. People not dumb. People are not dumb.
I also think they're mistaken, though. I don't think that Jason Correa, you're talking about, did have command of the issues, but I think that in a debate, what you project something about yourself. People have complained about the people's debate because it was so raucous and noisy, but I think that you can find out something about the candidates in that format. I think that every debate had some value to it, and I think people, more than anything, just get an impression of the person. What is this person really like? And I think people still want to know more than the plans of people like you and me. I think we think real hard about the proposals and the plans and the policies, but I think a lot of people don't, and I don't mean that as a criticism of either them or us. They want to get an impression. Because you can read about policies, but you want to get an impression of the person.
Is the other side, and again, no law was broke. You know, do you decide how you want to do it? Either the candidates accept it or they don't accept it. If they don't accept it, it's no debate. But as long as the candidates accept it the way that the debate's going to be, that's it. It's not. They cannot say you cannot do that.
Yeah, I think it had value. I think all
where's
the debates had
that
value.
I cannot do that. You know, and I think that's. And
it is what it is. Yeah.
I think it was a good debate. It was a debate that people show they are interest. You know, they boo. Yes, they did. They applaud too. So it was not just one side. It was both sides. As long as it's both sides, I'm okay with it's rights for both of them.
I think that debate and all of them had a certain value. A point that I did hear made on WSCR today is that I think in this election, and maybe in the last one, maybe more people have begun to be involved. Now, you don't know if that's going to last, but some of it might last.
Yeah.
And maybe some younger people, and we're a couple old guys, but we understand that young people have to get involved. Maybe some younger people than before have begun to get involved. Certainly in the city council as well as the mayor's race, there was a bit of a youth movement, and we got to try something different. It's not that young people are better than old people, but we've been doing the same thing for a long time. It doesn't always work out. I think there is some change.
The people that are getting involved now, it's much younger.
Yeah.
So they approach everything different.
We're ending on a positive note. That's great.
Yeah.
Because
So,
hooray for young people.
But yeah, and through this election, I met a lot of good people,
Yeah,
a
I
lot
did
of
too.
new people, young people, and I know they will be involved.
Yeah.
They will keep being involved.
That is a good thing.
And the next show we will talk about city councils.
Excellent.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you.